Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yes! We are back, everyone. It's been a long hiatus over the summer, but Once Upon a Time's after show here at AFTERBUZZ TV is finally back. And I'm Tiona Hobson, back again, once again for another exciting season here. Yes. And joining me tonight, I have the lovely and beautiful Queen Elsa, Keetin Marchi.
I'm so sorry. I need my fan. Where's my Beyonce fan? I need it with the music.
Yes. I need a fan
to blow my hair.
Good Lord.
I need my fan sitting next to this hot chica.
Yes, and we also have the devilishly dark and mysterious Marisa Serafini joining us.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
She's got her little like Dark Swan zip up.
Yeah, you should see the back of it. It's like a corset and it's like see-through. It's like, girl, down my matrix.
Ladies, this is a family show.
I mean, but
hello, everyone.
Marissa's on fleek tonight, y'all. So you should definitely check us out on YouTube if you're listening on iTunes just to see how hot she looks. We are talking about season 5. 5 seasons, guys. 5 seasons.
This has been going on for 5 years.
Yes.
We're here. We are actually talking about the show. Yeah. I've been tweeting all day and tweeting all summer. I did a countdown for this show. That's like how excited I am to talk about this.
And it's finally here on episode 1, The Dark Swan, which it says enough in itself. So let's just get into the episode. We're going to start with what's happening in Storybrooke, where everything picks up exactly where we left off in the finale. So you still have Hook and Regina and Mary Margaret and David and Henry standing around with a dagger like, huh? Like Emma's just disappeared in a puff of smoke. Mm-hmm. Like, where is she?
Very Storybrooke-like, you know?
Yeah, very Storybrooke-like. So we start off in... Everyone's like, okay, we have to find Emma. Hook tries to summon her with the dagger, and Regina's like, well, yeah, this will get her here from any corner of this world. Clearly, she's not here. We need to go find her. They go to the sorcerer's apprentice. I almost called him the sorcerer, but I remembered to put that apprentice in there. And he gives them this wand.
He's not looking too good.
He's looking rough. He's been through a lot, guys.
Yeah.
He basically gave them Hermione's wand with a brain on the bottom of it. Like, that's like literally all I could do. I was like, okay, cool. Hermione's connected to this wand. Okay, why is there a brain? That grosses me out.
How awesome would it be to interact with witches and wizards, teenagers? Well, bring Hogwarts into this.
It would
they don't
be
have the rights to that.
No. But it's also kind of weird because we don't see that many wands in this.
Blue has a wand.
Blue has a wand, but that's the only one. So it's like all of a sudden there's 2 wands now, and it's just kind of like, okay, are we gonna start making this super magical? Because I kind of like
Ingrid, the Elder Wand. Ingrid had a wand.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't need wands because everyone just uses their hands here to, like, you know,
they're beyond
show
wands.
People, yank out
Frozen,
hearts.
ice.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, we don't need wands in this world, but okay, we have a wand.
I think that's also production costs, you know. It's like it costs money for wands.
Well, and I think the wand, I mean, the wands obviously control more powerful magic because obviously the fairy Blue, she has a wand, and that wand does a lot cooler things than just people can do with their hands. Like, think about it.
A lot more useful things.
Yes, a lot more useful things. Sorry. We're so close.
Okay. I missed you too, kid. You're here.
Okay, so the wand, he says, can open up a portal to go, but you need both light and dark, which is how the wand was forged in order for it to work. And Regina's like, don't worry, y'all, I got this. And then we're all like, girl, no, you don't. You a good one now. Like, what you thinking?
Like, bye, boo.
Like, sorry, Felicia, but bye. So
it's been a really weird way.
And that's exactly what Hook told her.
Yeah.
And Hook's like, look, you're too soft now. You've gone to, you know, the light side. We need someone who's more evil. And it's like, ding, ding, ding. Wicked Witch of the West is locked up in our basement, pregnant with Robin Hood's baby. Bet you forgot that. Or you didn't.
Can we just talk about? Can we talk about angsty Hook? Like sexy angsty Wolf, but damn, he is so much hotter. I didn't think he could get hotter, but when he is mad, I'm like, hello.
But it was also, you know, pairing up with Regina. How freaking awesome was she tonight?
She was amazing. I liked seeing Hook and Regina's kind of back and forth banter, and I was reading on Twitter before we got on air, and some people were like, ooh, I'm kind of shipping them for this moment, and I'm like, no. I don't ship them, but I do enjoy a good tiff. You know, when someone can bring it back to you and you can have that back and forth sort of conversation.
It's also, they, in a way, are very, very similar because they're very strong people who always have conflict with good and evil. And it's those two kind of personalities going against each other. It's like,
and
hey,
now
look in the
Emma's
mirror.
not there to kind of be the buffer between them.
Yes.
Now they're just like boom, boom, boom. And
they're too alike that they're opposing.
Yeah, and it's like they both want to help Emma, but they have different ways of going about it. And so when they go see Zelena, you know, they learn that, you know, they learn what they need, which is something that's personal to Emma to get the portal to open to where she might be and get you there. But Zelena's like, well, you got to take this wristband off of me that's stopping me from doing magic to help out. And Regina's like, we're not releasing you into the world. Sorry, girl, bye. And
you cray.
Completely rational.
Yeah, which is completely rational.
I would not let her that crazy.
And this is where it's like fun to have a girl and guy go at it because you see the woman's perspective of like how to do things the right way, and then the guy's perspective of like, we're just gonna rush into things and not think the plan fully through. Because,
let me just hand her the wand.
Yeah, because
what are you thinking?
And he goes to Henry.
He's a guy.
Yeah, he goes to Henry and it's like, Henry, you're the author. Like, just write the magic out of your mom. And he's like, I broke the pen. Like, I don't want that power. I ain't got time for that.
His reaction was like, you what?
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Oh, but then like Hook immediately talked him into, oh, so you're never gonna do anything bad? It was almost like the peer pressure of like high school of like, oh, so you're just gonna be this goody two shoe all the time? Come on, why do you have to listen to what your mommy says? Grow up, Hook.
No, but I found that actually really funny because as childish as it was from Hook, it was very teenager-like from Henry.
Yeah.
To go against that and be slightly rebellious. Tap into those hormones and make him be angsty teenager.
Can I say, for the first time in between a season, it doesn't seem like Henry's aged too much. So it makes a little bit more sense to me that this is like immediately following what we saw at the end of last season. So I'm like, yay! Then
I think we're good
growing.
now. He got past the point of like the hard
puberty.
part of puberty where you go from looking like a little boy to a grown man literally overnight. So I think we're good with him with the aging stuff for a while.
Is, we're not hearing too many squeaks in his voice anymore. He's just gotta,
Yeah.
The hardest part of puberty is kind of past.
Yeah, the hardest part's over.
Everyone has gone through it.
So Henry and Hook have this plan to go break Zelena out of the little prison cell in the bottom of the hospital ward where all the mental patients go.
It's amazing how many people can break out of that.
Yeah, and it's amazing how easy it was for them to get past. Like, oh, I spilled my Coke, and then...
Was it Coke?
It was like a Slurpee or
did coffee. You guys... Because there was that one patient who was mopping, and then like we lingered on that person's face for a little bit, and so it kind of made me feel like maybe this person might come into the picture later, or am I overthinking?
I felt the same way.
Prediction.
I felt the same way. It was weird. I wonder who that is.
The eye contact that
he made eye contact,
yeah,
and then Hook was like shh, and like so Hook. I don't know if Hook knew who he was, but he knew he wouldn't say anything because Hook didn't freak out by him seeing him. He just kind of was like shh, and then moved on. So I do think, and usually directors they'll give you those little clues, especially in a show like this. I think you're absolutely right, T. I think that he's gonna come back. He's got super long hair. I think he's in disguise. I don't know what he is.
And you guys let us know what you guys are thinking. Marissa is online right now in our live chat role on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube right now, you can actually chat with Marissa and tell her what you think some predictions are, and maybe we'll have time at the end of the show to read those off, and she'll be letting us know what comments you guys are leaving as well. Keetin, focus on me.
I was reading that.
Yes.
I
snapped at you.
Mm-hmm. So people say Merida will be around more, but we'll get to her.
That was who thought that was Corbin Blue? I'm sorry, it was not Corbin.
It's in the Disney family.
In the Disney family.
I would love Corbin Bleu to come on. He's great.
I think he's kind of busy.
So once they finally get once Hook gets into Zelena's room, he's like, I want to make a deal with you, but I need some leverage. And he takes out the potion that Regina gave him to take out Cora's heart with.
This is a real throwback.
Which was so long ago that I forgot that this happened, that he never actually did it. And he puts it on his hook and he's like, hiya! And boom, explode. Like, girl, you can't touch my heart. And it turns out that Zelena had put a spell to protect her heart because she knows how important hearts are. And with her family history of hearts, good on her for thinking ahead of the game.
But I want to pass it to Marisa because she did pick out a great continuity error, and I would be very interested to see what other people thought about this.
Okay. This bracelet that is supposed to suppress Zelena's magic, her powers, her abilities, whatever you call them, and then to have Hook try to take her heart, and the magic is still there protecting her. Like, I thought the whole bracelet canceled all that. But we were talking while we were watching, that was a pre-existing magical spell that she cursed on
maybe it just prevents her from using it
for future.
Because it suppresses her magic, it doesn't absorb her magic. So the way I understood how this is possible is that she already put the spell on her heart eons ago, according to her. And you can't just undo someone's spell with magic. They have to be the one to sort of undo it themselves. But the bracelet is preventing her from actually doing magic. This is something that's already on her, so it's not gonna stop any magic that.
I think that bracelet's cheap. Then they need to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean they.
And the fact that she could slice her own hand off.
Come on.
Like, what was that? That wasn't even magic. That was just like.
He had a very sharp blade. That's all I'm saying. And she wound up because I watch a lot of. Like doctor stuff. It's not easy to go through all those bones. Like, you gotta really be forceful and willing to do it. Like, it takes a strong person to chop off their own hand. I'm not saying that it's something I would do, but I have mad respect for someone who's gonna just chop off their own hand. Of course, she also knew that after she chopped it off, she was just gonna magically grow herself a new hand. But in life, could you imagine chopping off your hand? Like,
no, I kind of liked my hand. Thank you.
47 hours. Was that movie with James Franco?
127 hours.
Yeah, 127
and that
hours.
was an arm, not a hand.
Yeah, so I'm just like, you know what? Girl's mad strong and pregnant too, so you don't mess with pregnant ladies. That's just what I'm saying.
Maybe it was the adrenaline as well.
Yeah.
Not that I'm rooting for Zelena, no.
Yeah, so basically they set it up so that Zelena can escape. She now escapes here, and she goes straight to Robin Hood, and disguised as Regina, which I was so happy that as soon as Robin Hood kissed her, he was like, Zelena, ew.
Oh,
like,
I know.
Girl, your breath nasty. I know this ain't Regina.
Okay, watching this, I gotta give it to the editors and writers and whatever, building up. I'm like, just make out, please. Like, I need Outlaw Queen right now. And then it happened, and then immediately, it turned out to not be Regina.
I knew something was fishy.
I'm glad there was a romantic moment, but I'm mad that it wasn't the real Regina.
I'm sure they're doing just fine.
We will. I project we will get a lot of Outlaw Queen.
I loved it when they were in the cell and Regina was like, "Oh no, don't touch my man."
Yeah,
slap that hand away.
Regina's very territorial with her loved
ones.
She
has every right.
She has every right.
No, I love it. I think it's great that she's territorial. She's territorial with Henry too.
Jerry Springer. She's like, my sister tried to sleep with my man and got pregnant with a baby.
Like, I also tried killing my mother too.
Straight up Jerry Springer.
Yeah, their family should be on a Jerry Springer episode. So now Zelena wants to offer a trade to Regina. They meet up in the middle of the streets. This is like the Wild West in Storybrooke, okay? Every big showdown they have happens in the middle of the streets, and it's like high noon, and it's like a ghost town.
And the leaves.
Do you know what it is?
That angle, the camera crane.
It's like West Side Story. I just want to be like,
Yeah, it's like
it's the sharks and the jets, you know.
They come walking up and they're just like, all right, I got my guy here and I'm holding him with my magical new hand, and you have your posse behind you, and she's got the one. She's like, what? We gonna brawl or what, sis? And it's just so great.
It's not the first time that they met up like this in the street either.
It's not. Everything that happens in the middle of the street.
Where is everybody?
No cars are driving by.
It's Storybrooke.
The next time it happens, I want a car to come rolling up and everyone has to go like pause and like back up and like car.
Like when you're playing when you're kids and like you're playing in the street, all of a sudden somebody goes cars, everybody's got to scatter and then you come back and you're like game on. Okay, we're
good. Resume.
Yeah, so I think that would be a great point for the writers to put in there. Mm-hmm. They should listen to us.
Well, because they did kind of start like, I feel like they're starting to poke a little bit more fun at like
themselves.
Yeah, kind of how silly sometimes the show gets. But I mean, we love it for all the silliness it is. But if they continue to do that, I think I'm gonna love the show even more. Like, because it's just like, just be honest with the show. Like, you know, you don't have to like crack jokes every time, but like, come on.
Yeah,
like it's great.
It's awesome. And in this moment, in this big showdown in the middle of the streets, did you guys start to feel bad for Zelena? Because when she starts talking about, you know, how she needs the wand, she's like, I will give you Robin Hood if you give me the wand. I'm going back to Oz. I just want to be alone with my child. This is the one thing in life that will love me, and I don't want you guys infiltrating their mind and having my child turn against me. And Regina, you keep getting everything you want, and I just want this for me.
But you know what? Okay,
I do feel bad for her.
Nope.
I do. Nope. I do. This is why she was just trying to go. She was trying to go, and I thought she had left a season ago. Like, I am ready to be done with Zelena. No offense, but sure, let her take her baby, get her out, less blood on your hands, whatever. So it is frustrating that they have to keep her with them to do anything, but it's going to be interesting to see what influences she has, I think, on Emma, because she is with the crew, and I think that's going to be to their detriment that they did bring her with them, because I don't think they really need her anymore for the wand, because they're going to go find Merlin, like, and they're going to get to where they need to go. I wish there was another way to just be like where's a magical broomstick that you can just put Zelena on and send her off to Oz? Come on.
She doesn't need broomsticks. She just needs a portal, apparently, to get to places.
Well, my thing with there's not enough portals around.
My thing with Zelena is that, I mean, compare her to Regina, and I don't want to, but we're gonna have to for this. Regina, all these years, she's tried over and over again. She's failed and failed and failed, but she's always came back stronger. She has worked hard to be a good person and earn the respect of everyone, and you know, for that mutual respect. And then Zelena has always, I mean, granted she didn't have the support system, but Zelena has always taken shortcuts. And she always wanted that instant gratification. And she's like, why didn't get this? So she's quick to whine about things that she didn't have compared to the things that she never actually worked for. So, boom.
I'm like reading, somebody brought up Peter Pan. Thank God Peter Pan is not back.
He's kind of busy on Heroes.
He's on Heroes. He's a hero now. So.
Yeah, he's a hero now. Yeah. But I wanted to keep talking about Zelena a little bit, because I hear what Marissa's saying, and I understand that, but I also think that the whole point of this show is giving the bad guys the chance to be good. And with Zelena, she's done so much bad and like unforgivable things and all along those lines. But at the end of the day, like, she's saying, like, I just want to go and be with, I'm now bringing something into the world that will love me 100%. And I just want to go be with the baby. But then I was like, but you can't take your child away. It's Robin Hood's child, too. You can't just disappear on him. Like, what if he wants a relationship with his baby?
Really, Robin Hood? Really?
I mean, Robin Hood's a good guy, so he's definitely going to want to be a part of that child's life, even if it's with a mother that he never wanted to have a baby with.
And even if it's with the mother who said wasn't even really good.
Yeah, I mean, she did take a couple blows at Robin Hood.
Lies. I
think that in a story where there's, like, redemption to be talked about, that in this moment, I did feel a little bit bad for Zelena, just because you can see the hurt and what kind of drove her to being the person that she is today. And the jealousy, which we've seen. And I know that kind of contradicts a lot of what I said, because someone tweeted me earlier today talking about how we always bash Rumple and how, you know, we're not well, not all of us, but how I don't believe in his redemption. But I think he was the dark one, so that's different.
Again, also, we've seen those moments where he has legitimately tried and put in effort to be good. So that he's always given us a reason to root for him, whether or not the outcome was in our favor.
But maybe, Zelena's never been given the chance to show us either. Like every Regina, Hook, Rumple, all of them, someone had to start off by giving them a chance.
I think Zelena was kind of given a chance when she was first involved in Storybrooke, and then
she was.
And she was, because even the women, part of that coven that immediately accepted her, she got jealous and envious, turned green, and then she turned on her own women. So
she did have a chance.
She's had chances, and she chose the wrong choices.
Chances.
I think everyone has. Okay, so then we have the Cyclones coming because Regina tricks Zelena into conjuring the storm, the Twister, to take her to Oz, and it's a twister. And so she uses the dwarves. Yeah, the dwarves run into Granny's. They use Granny's house as basically Dorothy's farm, and they take the Twister on a journey to the Enchanted Forest, or to Camelot, I guess, is where they actually are.
But okay, out of all of I love this, first of all, but out of all the portals and all the realms that they've been to, what were the chances of actually opening up the correct portal to the correct place that they really wanted?
No, they had to use Emma's blanket
thing to take it to her,
because remember the whole thing was that
you're right. Yeah, I'm getting too
because Zelena was weak after she cast the thing, so then they were able to put the wristlet back on her.
Because Zelena just opened a doorway, and then they used the blanket to get to where they wanted
because she had the trinket that was Oz, so she opened it to go to Oz, and then they used the blanket to redirect it basically to where Emma is.
So there was a lot of cooks in that kitchen.
Yeah, no more sharp objects around Zelena. Everybody, no more sharp objects around.
Because girl will cut off her hand. Just seriously. But
sharp objects.
So the other thing that I absolutely loved about this whole Twister taking off thing was that the dwarves come in and they're they finally stand up for themselves.
We want to go on an adventure too.
You keep leaving us behind and leaving us out of things. We want to go with you. We're not leaving your side, Snow White. Come on, give us a chance type of thing. And I was like, this is another point of them kind of making fun of themselves, because the dwarves will disappear from episodes for 3 at a time, and you're kind of like, where is Leroy at these days? Is he working on another show? And they kind of poke fun at this one. They're like, no, we're coming with you.
Yeah,
and
Leroy's like, oh no, I fixed my contract. I will be here in every episode.
I will be going on this adventure. We're going to be involved this year, okay? So then that's how they basically end up in the wonderful world of Camelot. I know. I swear I know what we're talking about. And then, so now we're into, meanwhile, in Camelot, Emma has shown up, and she is hearing voices, basically. The only way to describe it is that the darkness that's inside her is...
She's manifesting it as gold.
As Rumpelstiltskin, but it's basically something that every dark person has within them, is this voice that's the evil.
The little devil on your shoulder.
The little devil
Where's
on the shoulder.
Archie Hopper? We need his voice, not Rumpel's voice.
I know, right? We need the good and the bad on her shoulders. We don't need just the bad.
Mary Margaret. No,
we need the angel and the devil.
Yes.
There we go.
Oh, so before I forget, too, we should talk about how the flashback scene at the beginning of the episode, Minneapolis, 1989. Emma has lived literally everywhere in the United States of America except maybe California.
Emma gets around.
So she's maybe 8 or 9 in this flashback?
She's young.
She looked young. I have no perception of how old kids are because I'm just not that person. And she's going to see the sword in the stone. I can talk, I swear. Which,
Great
of course,
movie.
is a Disney classic. And I was so happy to see it up there because it was literally one of my favorite movies watching growing up, just because of all the magic that happened.
That one was one of your favorites?
Yeah.
I mean,
I loved when he turned into a squirrel
twice.
and, like, ran around. Like,
and then the female squirrel chased him.
Yeah.
No.
they turned into fish and they're, like, swimming around.
All right, I do have to mention this. Like, I'm obsessed with King Arthur and Camelot and all versions and alliterations of this story. And I just read Camelot a week ago and King Arthur, so I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, so she's sitting at the movies. She steals some candy out of an adult's jacket pocket and is like, ooh, I'm so excited to watch the movie now. And this usher comes up to her and is just like, don't do it, Emma.
She's like, what?
She's like, I'll give the candy back. Like, it's not that serious. And he's like, no. He gives her basically a warning that in life, bad things can happen even when you don't mean for them to happen.
So just do the right thing, right?
Yeah, so
Do
the
something
right
for
thing.
right reasons.
Yeah. And that at some point in her life, she'll have the opportunity to remove Excalibur from the stone and to leave it alone. And I was very confused about that until we saw the part with
King Arthur.
With just Arthur at the time.
Sorry, Lucy.
And Lancelot, when they make it to the sword. And Sir Kay beats them there and it's like, it's just a prophecy. Poof. Yeah, and you just...
That was awesome.
Can you hear his teeth? Tiana's face when that I was like, oh, you better be careful, you're gonna get electrocuted. I was thinking that was gonna happen. And then he just exploded and she goes, oh!
I'm expecting him to like turn into dust or something and like crumble or something like that. He just poofed away. And
they had
like,
fun with that one.
Like, what the heck just happened?
Don't touch it.
So then
that didn't happen in the movie. If you couldn't get the sword out, you did not go poof.
Yeah, you didn't go poof, so I wasn't expecting that. So basically then Arthur goes up and pulls out the sword and it's missing the tip, and then you see on the sword that it's actually the dagger's design, and then cut to the dagger and it's like, oh yep, that would fit perfectly right there. They go together. So the Usher's movie theater prophecy did come true. Emma just didn't realize that she was taking the sword and the stone when she was doing it.
My thing is, if we are to go with the actual lore of King Arthur, the sword that King Arthur takes out of the stone is just a sword to prove that he's going to rule the kingdom. And then Excalibur comes later on when that sword gets broken and he has to go to the Lady of the Lake, and the Lady of the Lake gives him the sword. That's Excalibur.
Do you think the Lady of the Lake is
That's the
Ariel?
story.
Or
well, no, we met the Lady of the Lake in season 2.
we did?
I think it was.
Gosh, that was so long ago.
Yeah, it was so long ago. It was one episode, and we kind of went in there, and we were like, "Oh, are they going to explore this more?" And they didn't.
They didn't. So
and then it was season 3.
The possibility is there, so that makes me think the dagger, the sword that they pulled from the stone, and also the dagger. That's not Excalibur. If they're going to go with the actual story.
So my question is,
they take their own liberties with these stories.
If the sword had been whole when they did it, because Arthur also was like, look, we're not going to tell anyone that the sword's missing the tip because people need to know that I am the king. I know that sounded kind of dirty and Keetin kind of started laughing, but we're not that kind of show. So he's like, we're just going to keep moving on. We're going to tell everyone we found it, that I pulled it out, and everything's fine. Meanwhile, if the dagger if the dagger part had still been on there and he pulled it from there, what does that mean? That he would have the full dagger. So I feel like the sword was broken off to create the Dark One.
It makes sense, and I think Merlin has a lot to do with it.
Okay.
I think Merlin put the sword there. Merlin was the one who told him to go get that sword. Merlin also is the only one who can help Emma and like take away the Dark One. So I think Merlin absolutely created the sword, split the sword up, made the one dagger thing. I'm nervous about Merlin. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't quite know if Merlin's a good guy.
Merlin is up to some sketchy stuff.
And that's the cool thing with Merlin, because in all different versions of King Arthur, Merlin could either be the one you root for or the one you have to watch. Like, he's the most questionable.
My favorite version of Merlin was from Kid in King Arthur's Court. You guys remember that? I loved Merlin in that movie.
My favorite was
so great.
The BBC version Merlin. Such a great show.
That was a good
Do you have
show
a favorite
too.
Merlin?
Well, it's funny that you brought up A Kid in King Arthur's Court
that.
because when the movie came on and it was the Disney classic, I started to write. Showing on the screen is A Kid in King. Nope. Sword in Stone. So clearly that's where my mind went when I thought of Merlin.
That boy was so cute.
So back to Emma. She's just come into this. She's like, where am I? What's going on? I'm in rags all of a sudden. I'm out of my leather jacket. Thank God. Leather still last season, guys.
But her outfit was kind of awesome, as ratty as it was.
I miss that. Her hair looked like
Her hair was not on
You
point.
need a blowout real quick.
I think even like her face kind of looked like crap, and it's done on purpose because she's fighting with this darkness, and you can see that it's taking a toll on her body and her image and everything.
Well, and you saw, like, I think it also is because she just kind of came out of the goo, so she was all wet.
The black goo.
The black goo.
The black goo.
But because the next
Dark
day,
goo, that's what
her
I
hair
had.
dried and it looked a little bit more on fleek.
Yeah, if Blake were here, he'd say that her weave was not hot right now.
He will be back with us.
Yeah,
everybody.
Blake will be back with us starting next week. So Emma has, I don't even know what to call. Are we just going to call him Rumple? Kind of, but it's not
The
Rumple.
voice of Rumple.
Yeah, she has
The voice, the dark voice
I think
with dark
it's
hair.
the dark one. I think it's the dark one.
I cannot come to grips with calling Emma the dark one.
No, it's not Emma. No,
Oh, but
Rumple is the dark
okay.
one. So the dark one
So
is influencing.
The dark one is influencing her thoughts and getting in her head and telling her that she needs to find Merlin and you're lost, you need directions. And Emma randomly comes across like a guy who's minding his own business and she asks for directions and he's like, yeah, for 2 pieces of
She
silver.
goes all Darth
she's-
Vader on him.
Yeah.
For 3 and 4.
The force comes within her and she's like, I'm not doing this. Yes, you are, dearie.
Magic has a price.
Yeah. and then she's like, and she freaks out and the guy runs away. And then he basically tells her to imagine this place and takes her to where the wisp are. And the wisp will guide her to Merlin if she whispers to it. And we all know that the wisp came into play in the movie Brave. So who do we expect to see nearby? Good old Merida.
Can I
is
hear?
there.
I saw that picture that you tweeted of Kathy Kelly's reaction to your Scottish accent. Can I just hear it, please? I've
It's
been,
so
like,
bad.
wanting-
No,
I just,
see, let us
go-
know.
Give me a little. Give me a little.
If you had the chance to change your fate, would ya? It's so bad. I think it's gotten
I'm sorry
worse since I
asked
did it
for
last year. I really need to practice. I'm going to practice and I'm going to
It's
get
okay, T. You can work on that and we'll take over.
good. Yeah.
Had the chat. What?
I'm
not even going to try. Nope.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So good on you.
Can we talk about Merida?
Yes, let's talk about
let's
Merida.
Her hair was way too orange. It was like bozo orange. It was just too much for me. I wish it would have
was
gone
a
a little bit
lot.
more natural.
Okay, so the biggest thing with me when people use hair that isn't their natural color is the eyebrows. Because if the hair doesn't match the eyebrows, then I know clearly it's dyed, and Merida is a natural redhead. So not saying that she needed to dye her eyebrows red, but it was just like her eyebrows just didn't match with how bright the color of the hair was. Maybe the hair color
Her
was a little
complexion.
dark. Yeah.
It was the
It needs to be a
she's
little
beautiful.
darker.
She's a beautiful woman. I'm not even questioning that. It was her hair didn't match with her skin tone.
Yeah.
It just
And it was
And her-
off-putting, especially in a very dark, saturated, greenish gray forest.
Yeah.
She did not. She was a sore thumb.
I'm not really happy, honestly, with the casting choice for Merida. I think she looks a little too. I understand it's not like right after the movie, but I think she looks a little too old. And I also the hair eyebrow thing. She's obviously not a natural redhead, and I feel like Merida is so she's so much more youthful looking. And I don't know. There's something off with the way the actress looks. I wasn't believing.
Yeah, I will say this though, her accent is way better than mine, so she's winning in that.
But also, we know Merida from the Brave Pixar movie, but this Merida is much older. So I think we were already coming in with predetermined thoughts about what this character should be like.
Yes, and I mean she explains that where we're picking up with her story is that her father has now died. She is supposed to be in charge, but the clans didn't really approve of a girl being in charge. So there's like, they're fighting each other, and they kidnapped her brothers, and she's on a quest to find her brothers and bring justice to those who took them. So it's kind of like, okay, we're seeing a new side of Merida in general, because the Merida from the movie is like, oh, I don't want anyone telling me what I can and can't do, and you know, my mom wants me to be a lady. And so she is so young, and now we're coming in and it's like this new Merida. So I don't know. I want to give her like another episode to decide.
I'm gonna give her another episode. I thought we were gonna lose her this episode. Yeah, honestly. I was like, we're gonna only have Merida for one episode. Okay.
I think it's interesting how they established Merida that she has darkness within her. When first of all, granted it's her first episode. She's seemingly good, but she had a darker motivation for the path she was on. She wanted to kill, not to subdue anybody. So the fact that they established that she's dark makes me question if these future episodes we'll see of her, she's actually going to be a darker type of character.
I think that it is showing her as like a darker, more adult version than from the movie. But it also brings to question, like, everyone who's like on a quest to save someone, doesn't it go without saying that you're gonna end up killing people to get to the gold at the end of the tunnel kind of thing? Like, someone kidnapped your brother. Well, no, like, I'm just thinking in my head when someone thinks of, okay, this person got kidnapped and I'm on a quest to go save them. Clearly along the route there's going to be danger, and I'm probably going to have to kill some people to get to them, because those people are going to be stopping me from getting to my object. So it goes without saying that any quest really involves darkness, because you have to be willing to kill people to get to what you want.
Deep thoughts.
I know, deep thoughts with tea.
Well, deep thoughts with tea.
At least she wasn't a bear.
Why you join us?
Yeah, at least she wasn't a bear. So Emma and Merida are trying to work together, but Emma's a little crazy, because
real crazy.
We the audience see the voice of the Dark One standing there talking to her, but not everyone else does, because Merida's kind of like, this lady is nutso. She's talking in her sleep. So Merida gets up in the middle of the night and, you know, jumps out of there as quick as she can. Emma finds out and uses her new found magical transportation, which is basically just like, you know, apparating somewhere. Yep. That was a Harry Potter joke for you guys.
That was.
Apparating. The process of teleportation, basically. Yes. In the magical realm.
Basically.
In the less doozy way.
So she catches up to her in the Hill of Stones, where Merida has already whispered to the wisp what she wants. And once you whisper to it, as long as that person's heart is beating, you cannot use the wisp. Which I like that they said while the heart is still beating, because that means that Emma could, if Emma was like, oh, you can't be here, I can put a sleeping curse on you, or I can like knock you unconscious. But it's the very specific, the heart cannot be beating.
But this is the thing that really kind of frustrated me with this kind of whole like setup. Okay, but Meredith said she wanted to help Emma. If Meredith has this wisp for the rest of her life, she can whisper other things to it to help Emma. Like, hey, can you help us find Merlin? Because I want to help my friend Emma now. Which I think Merida is honorable enough that she would have absolutely done that for Emma if she just would have gone along for the ride. But no.
Well, you know, she has the voice talking to her. And when you have that in you and the darkness is already in you, and then you're like, I think ultimately, what's wrong with everything ever in life and all problems can be solved is if both sides just openly communicated with the other. You know, if Emma had come over and been like, yo, girl, so I just inherited, like, the Dark One's powers, and I got this dark voice in my head telling me to kill you right now and take over, but I don't want to do that. Like, I'm here for you. I'm trying to be a good person right now, girl. Like, I got you, but this voice is tempting me to do some weird stuff. And Merida would be like, you know what? Maybe you need this wisp way more than me because you're crazy. And then problem solved. But people don't want to be honest and open and share their feelings with each other. Sorry.
Communication is the key, people.
I mean, how many times do we say they just need a therapy session with Archie?
Yes, it's just like open communication lines and you'll be okay. But anyways, so they don't do that. Merida's there. She's got her arrows that never miss its target, and Emma's just like catching them left and right. And it's just making her more angry that Merida keeps trying to shoot arrows at her because Merida also knows that, you know, she wants to kill her. And eventually Emma gets fed up with it. And
how cool was that, though?
It was so cool.
Look it up, because, you know, Merida is always bragging that the arrow doesn't miss, and she's the best bow and arrow person out there.
Okay, Katniss, it missed. Boom. Like 6 times.
Boom. I mean, with Robin Hood there, Robin Hood and Merida together
I hope
both
we get
never
a
meet
scene.
their targets, so maybe we can have a scene where they're competing with each other.
Where were you going there? I was like, they are not breaking out.
Oh, no. I want to see like an archery contest with like Merida being like, I never miss, and Robin Hood being like, little girl, I got you. And then like seeing who wins, who's really the best at it.
And then we would have a scene from like Robin Hood's Prince of Thieves.
Yeah, that'd be a great
exactly.
Or like Men in Tights, really. Not Prince of Thieves. Men in Tights.
Or
They're
even
like,
the Robin Hood with
did you miss? Yes.
Yeah.
He does,
So
he does.
finally Emma gets fed up and yanks her clothes, takes out Merida's heart, and the voice is telling her, now crush it. And just in the nick of time, here comes the merry band. The cavalry,
like 6.
Yes.
There were 6 of them there rooting for
6 of them there, and they're like, Emma, what are you doing? Don't do it. And of course, I had my hooker moment with Hook talking her off the ledge and being like, Emma, like, it has to be your choice. You can't do this. We're here for you. He said something along the lines, I didn't get the exact quote, but he's like, we have all these heroes and villains together because of you, for you, to help you get through this. And I was like, yes, squad goals, love goals, relationship goals, #life.
Like, it was almost like T Swift and her squad just came up and was like, shake it off, Emma, shake it off.
Yes, I was just like, this is what the show is about. And I was so happy when Emma, put her heart back in her chest and was like,
on her own accord.
Yeah, on her own accord.
Yes.
And was like, you know what, you're right, I have all these people here rooting for me, and it's gonna be okay. And they're like, we have another surprise, come with us. And it's like, oh look, we brought Granny's with us, awesome. And then inside Granny's is all these other people who are also there to help you. And then that's when like King Arthur shows up again with his people, and they're like, about time you guys made it here. And they're like, huh? Like, you were expecting us? Oh, you think it's a coincidence? You were prophesized by Merlin to show up here. And Merlin also said that, because they haven't seen Merlin in a long time, but Emma was destined to reunite them with him. Reunite King Arthur with Merlin.
Prophesized.
Yeah, yes. Prophesized. So that is written in the words, and
dare say written in stone.
Yes, good one, Marisa.
My goodness.
So we think that everything's like all happy at the end of this episode, and we're like, all right, cool. Emma's still on a good path. We're like, yes, okay, like, came a couple close calls, but nothing too strenuous.
And so then, excited too about like, yay, we're gonna be in like fun costume world. I love when they're in like fairy tale costumes.
Love it. And then boom, 6 weeks later comes up on our screen, and we're like, where are y'all going with this? And poof, we have Sneezy and Happy driving. They're the new sheriffs.
No. I thought you. No, that wasn't Happy. That was
it was one. Sneezy and I forget who. But they were cruising. They're like, we're the new sheriffs in town, and we got a quiet town because when the savior and all those people are gone,
what if
Storybrooke is just a normal town. But they're like, actually, poof, everyone's back in their storybook gowns and stuff, and Emma's back, and she's now dark as heck. And you're like, what did you guys do? You messed up, Emma. Like, but 6 weeks has gone by, and they failed.
Maybe it's what they didn't do that made her mess up.
Or maybe it's what Merida did.
Who knows what happened? But Emma says, like, I will punish you. You guys failed. I have the dagger that, she gave Regina the dagger out in the Hill of Stones. And that was a great moment for
Everybody.
Yeah, for Swan Queen.
For all Regina fans out there.
Well, just because Regina is the only person that's like not directly related to her and like doesn't like fully love her. So if she has to kill Emma, she will
do it.
And Regina is good enough that she would sacrifice her own self and become the new Dark One if she had to.
I love this so hard.
Save everybody else.
And I just loved how Emma said it's like, I saved you, I need you to save me, and I need you to be the person who's willing to do what others can't. And I was like, yes, to get to that point in their relationship after all these years and after all that they've gone through together, it's like, yes, I love it. I love it so much.
It was a great moment, but now we're like, where does this leave us? What happened in those 6 weeks? I'm sure it's going to be uncovered throughout the season as we're like leading up to everything. But
Regina looked gorgeous in that.
Yeah, Regina looked hot. Whoa. Emma looked amazing in the dark when she's dark and
like,
her hair's like white and it's like
it's like Granny White
on fleek right
She's
there.
She's good at being bad. I kind of like her a little bit that.
Did you notice her voice was significantly lower?
Oh yeah.
She was like I couldn't tell if she was sick at the beginning of the episode or no. That was an acting choice.
Part of me wanted to give her a cough drop at the beginning of the episode,
Seriously.
but then I was like, no, it's a choice.
But I think it was an acting character choice to lower the voice, make her sound more serious, more threatening, and in that way.
Yeah. Well, we're quickly running out of time. So before we do that, Marisa, I know you have some shout outs that we want to give to people.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching us on YouTube, on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on anything that you can think of. We're on it. Thank you for supporting it all year long.
Summer long.
Bookworm.
So we are
19385.
Yes.
Riley Rose.
So on iTunes, we got a few nice reviews in the past few months. Zig says, makes Monday mornings magical. 5 stars. And Anan also said, love it. And then our good friends at Once Upon a Time podcast, you should follow them because they're awesome too. I met them at RegalCon back in May of 2015. Super sweet. They also sent us a care package they call it Big Love, full of cookies and whatnot. And they say our show inspires them. Well, everybody inspires us.
Yeah.
So we shout out to them, Jeff and Colleen Roney from that podcast. They are amazing, the sweetest people ever.
Yes, and thank you guys so much. And we're going to do some predictions quickly.
Really quick.
I will let Keetin start with predictions.
Oh, I kind of threw out a couple during the episode, but I wrote this one down earlier, and I think that Zelena will die for good.
For good!
For good! Wicked.
That texture you like it.
I'm so sorry. Zelena will die for good as soon as she has real love. And I think it's going to be a tragic hero, not hero, sorry, because I know she's not a hero, but it'll be a tragic ending for her because I think as soon as she realizes that she has unconditional love, I think that'll be done. Done,
I like
Zelena.
that prediction.
Oh,
Marisa?
okay, that's a good one for Zelena. I hope that happens. For predictions, the weird shady dude at the theater at the beginning in the flashback, because we know Merlin, the character, can take on so many different forms. I have a feeling that was Merlin in the theater, and then the crazy, creepy dude in the prison when they were trying to break out Wicked Witch, Zelena, the guy with the long hair. I think that was also Merlin.
Drop the pen.
And I think Merlin has just been everywhere influencing everything.
Boom. I like
He's
that
the real
too.
author.
My prediction is mostly just because when we saw everyone come back at the end of the episode and they're back in Granny's diner and everyone's, like, whoa, how did we get back here? We don't have memories again. Come on.
How annoying.
But Zelena's there. And what I didn't notice, and I'm going to go back and watch, is if she has a baby bump. Because it's been 6 weeks. When we saw her last, she kept holding her belly, but she's not pregnant enough to really be showing. And I feel like 6 weeks later from then, she should be showing. So I want to go back and see if I saw a baby bump. If I don't, then I think that Zelena loses the baby at some point while she's over there. And maybe that has something to do with what Emma does to become the Dark Swan as well.
Ooh.
So
what if What if Emma killed Zelena's baby? That'd be
innocent life of a child is like
death,
ultimate like darkness right there, right?
Death, and her heart has blackened. Therefore, her clothes have blackened.
I just got the chills, guys. I just got the chills. You can drop the pen, too.
Yeah, okay,
yes.
drop the pen.
Everyone's dropping pens.
Let us know what your predictions are. We're going to be on social media all week tweeting about this show. We love it so much. We know you guys do. Make sure you check us out. Leave us comments on YouTube, comments on iTunes. Listen to us. Tell a friend. Tell their friends. Tell your mom, your grandma, everyone. And tweet us and let us know what you think. Where can they find you guys on Twitter?
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Keetin Marchi. I'll keep it real simple.
Yeah, and you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. I did also go to D23 back in August, and I did go to the Once Upon a Time panel, and we had Adam and Eddie and Lana, and it was amazing. And and they teased a lot of good things about the season, so I'm really looking forward to talking about it.
Yay! And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at the Tiona Hobson. Make sure you check out all the shows that AfterBuzz TV does here all week. We do so many shows for you, and they're all free podcasts to download. So check all those out and follow AfterBuzz TV at AfterBuzz TV. We will be back next week with another exciting episode of Once Upon a Time. Thank you so much for tuning in.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.